the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Kayla. One
One podcast,
podcast,
two
two
sisters.
sisters. This is episode 8, and we'll be doing our first relationship advice episode. So we will have these every once in a while, answering your questions, giving advice if you have any specific questions for us. And we also might be having a special guest that pops in later on. You'll have to continue listening to find out. Relationship advice. We're going to give it to you. Until then, we thought it would be fun to talk about kind of what we are obsessed with right now, whether it just be a certain celebrity, a certain product, something that happened in the world. So we'll be doing this from time to time too, and we'd love to know your obsessions as well. So send us so we can make sure we are using all the right things, looking at all the right things. We need your help. Um,
So I'm going to
First
start.
obsession, Amy.
Yes. Trader Joe's sparkling water. Let me tell ya, it is my new favorite. So they just came. Well, I don't know how new this is, but when I went to Trader Joe's the first time, well, not the first time, but the first time recently, I got the sparkling water blueberry lemonade. And then just recently they had watermelon lemonade, and it is the freaking best. So go to Trader Joe's and give yourself a sip.
And I concur. When I last time I was at her place, I had both flavors and I'm obsessed because I keep meaning to go to Trader Joe's and we just never do it even though we hear like all these I actually loved the what do you call like haul that you did at Trader Joe's not too long
Hmm.
ago on your Instagram
Yeah.
because that's like I heard so many good things about Trader Joe's, but it's hard to know what to actually like get when you're there. So
Mhm.
keep those coming
Yeah,
because I
and
actually made did some notes.
everything in the freezer section literally tastes homemade when you make it. It's so good.
And
And
me and Marcus live off frozen stuff, so
yeah, and I think a lot of people do nowadays when you get home from work and you're like, or I stay home with the baby, like the last thing I want to do some nights is freaking figure out what to make for dinner. So Trader Joe's is a great place to go to look for freezer stuff too. And like
I know, I'm
pre-made
gonna
like
do
their
that this week.
raviolis.
I'm gonna force myself.
Do it. And it's
Um,
fun. It's a fun place to go. I don't know why I just like going there.
does Trader didn't he do, like, Trader Joe's wine for your wedding too? Is it Trader Joe's wine is a thing?
Mhm. They have, like, a whole bunch of, like, alcohol selection there too, like, a whole, like, section, so that's awesome to check out too.
Ayo, that's my section. My first obsession is Taylor Swift being on TikTok. It popped up on my e-news. Like I get notifications from e-news, obviously, and it says Taylor Swift on TikTok. So I immediately looked. She only had one video, and it was just her release dates for everything. And I was just like, "Oh, it's amazing!" And I love how it's such an intense thing that immediately TikTok had a trending hashtag called Swift Talk, and just literally just everything that has to do with Taylor Swift. And I
Yeah.
actually just checked, and she posted her second one, and it was about being a cat lady. Like, I'm obsessed with her. We are fellow cat ladies, and I'm just extremely I don't just TikTok is such a fun app. I don't know if you guys follow us on it, but we have so much fun making them. And I just think short form video is like I work in social media, so sorry I might go off on some tangents, but short form video is just like the future of social media. And so now that Taylor Swift is on TikTok, it's official, guys. It's a serious form of social media marketing. So get on it.
Well, yeah, and I've started to work with brands, and a lot of them now are asking for a lot more, like, video versus photos, which is
It's
so it's a
changing.
big
Like
change.
when we made our Instagram for our podcast, I immediately thought it was going to be this aesthetic place where it had like specific like color scheme. I mean, we still have a color scheme, but I just thought it was going to be, that quintessential aesthetic Instagram. Like that's kind of my thing. But just with the reels and getting so much views from the reels, that's our main source from social media, getting people's eyes on our podcast. So like I feel like Instagram just posting the images right now is not a good way
People
to get
don't
yourself
yeah,
out there.
yeah. Instagram also, like, I feel like rewards reel makers because it gives them, like, viewers. I think that photos rarely get seen. Like, it will be crazy because 'cause I'll get, like, 4,000 views on a reel, but then only, like, 200 people will even see my picture that I posted. It's
Mhm.
it's weird.
I know I
You know,
can't wait till you could start promoting reels. because that's one thing it hasn't gotten out yet. I think that's gonna change the game.
Mhm.
So, sorry for a
Well,
little social media marketing thing, but I kinda nerd out over that stuff.
so a good transition from Taylor Swift is my next story or my next obsession.
Do it.
So, I don't know, I'm sure everybody has heard that all the pumpkin flavors have come out at Starbucks. So, on Tuesday, I think, I went out, me and Jack, I got them all in the car. It was a rainy day. Don't know how I got lucky with this one. It was a rainy day. I went to Starbucks. I got my pumpkin cream cold brew. Obsessed. Everybody get it. I get it. A grande pumpkin cream cold brew with extra ice and extra foam in a venti cup.
Ooh,
Yeah.
text me that because
Okay.
I'll try it. Because I've never
It's
been a
so
pumpkin spice person. Like, I like muffins and I like
good. Mhm.
but I haven't found the perfect pumpkin drink yet.
I don't like pumpkin spice lattes. That's not my thing.
Okay, so that's good to know. Okay, send me what you get.
Okay, yeah, I think you'll like it. But anyways, so I get it. We're driving around town and I turn on Taylor Swift, her Red album. That's like my gives me all the fall vibes for some reason. All too well. Driving down the road, singing my little heart out, drinking my pumpkin thing, looking at little Jackie in the back, and he's just peaceful, just staring, windshield wipers on. Oh, it was wonderful. I will actually continue on this because I was going to tell the story later on, but I'll tell you now. Literally started crying in the car because I was like, I used to listen to Taylor Swift during like all my breakups in life or just like anytime I would get like in my feels and be kind of like sad or upset or whatever. But I was like, oh my gosh, I am now listening to this, looking back on all those sad feelings or like, I'm never going to find love or I'm never going to have a family or all these things. And I have everything that I have ever wanted. I have my amazing husband, my cute little baby, and now I'm listening to this and I still love it. And it was just, it was a moment.
No, that's amazing. Taylor Swift is just like she doesn't like yeah, she's a like mega star of the world, but I still don't think she gets enough credit. I
Hmm.
just think she is so just talented and amazing and a marketing genius. And her Red album, she's really re-releasing in November with some tracks that she didn't what's it called? Release the first time around.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we'll do a whole intro on just ranking all of her new Red songs. I think that could be
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
All right, so my next obsession, I don't know who else watches Dancing with the Stars, but it's leading up to for them doing like the big cast reveal. And they just did one ahead of time, and it was JoJo Siwa, and it's going to be the first same-sex couple to
Mhm.
be like partners on there. So I think that is super exciting, and I think it's just I don't know, it just made me really happy. I don't have kids, so I don't know who really JoJo Siwa is really, but I know she's like a
Big.
pretty influential person for young kids. So
Yes.
to see that she's gonna have a same sex partner on Dancing with the Stars, I'm obsessed, and I'm just bravo ABC Dancing with the Stars, and I'm just really happy to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who her partner's gonna be.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
You go.
So I'm gonna go TV shows. I actually have 2. I was gonna do 1, but then I just started another show last night and I'm obsessed. Clickbait on Netflix.
I saw the trailer and I want to watch it so bad.
Run. I watched, I think, 4 episodes in one night, and the whole time I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, what is gonna happen next? What is
Ooh,
gonna happen
yay.
next?
Okay, it's on my list.
Super good. Another show that I'm really into right now is 9 Perfect Strangers. Have you started that one?
That's Hulu with Nicole Kidman, right?
Yes.
Haven't started it. It's on my list.
Okay, that one too. It's a ride. You don't know what's going on. It's weird. It's confusing. It's deep.
I
It's
love crap like that.
yes, me too. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So those
On
2
it.
shows, if you like, they're both more like I wouldn't say thrillers next necessarily, but like what's gonna happen, like that type thing versus like comedy and other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
Me
Yay.
too.
Okay, I've got some stuff on my list. There's just so much TV. It's so hard to watch everything you want. It's not going to count as my obsession, but I'm obsessed. Motel Makeover on
Ooh.
Netflix. I'm now going to buy a motel. And also, They're if you watched it, the residence kitchen, we are going to do in green in our kitchen. And literally, we watched that show, went to Home Depot, bought the paint, and Marcus, right now, as I'm podcasting, is taking down all the cabinets for us to spray green outside.
That's awesome.
So maybe we'll, if people care, maybe I'll post like a reveal once it's done.
I also just wanna say, because I have not, um, put this out there, I'm in a closet now. I don't know if you guys have noticed the change in scenery. We're really trying to work on our audio because I know that that's something that we've received a lot of, feedback on, and we really want this to be the best podcast, so please hang in there with us because 'cause we're trying to figure it out really hard. We're not media geniuses, we don't know all that stuff, but we're really trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna be doing a fun, like, before and after because I'm gonna make this place look cool, so look for that.
Yes, I'll have to do a cool podcast studio home decor thing too at some point. So we'll keep you up to date on that.
Mhm.
All right. Next, I don't know if anyone noticed, but my hair is kind of, and I'll take it down. I'll do a little flip for the YouTube people. But my hair is purple now, and I use Arctic Fox hair dye. So it's like a semi-permanent, and it makes I did what I use Poseidon, which is like a blue, and then also Purple Rain, which is a purple. And I actually, one of my favorite things about it is I didn't have to bleach my whole head because that I just like want to do something that's good for my hair, and that's not it. So it's really cool. Not only does this like dye your hair and just make it kind of cool, even on top. I had like a medium brown hair before, and but it also conditions it. And so it's almost like a leave-in conditioner you have in your hair. So you are able to dye your hair, and then you also just have softer hair and smells like grapes. 10 out of 10. I think I want to do this. Like, I think it's supposed to last like between 1 or 2 months,
Mhm.
but then you could also, like, I have some left over, so I think I'm going to put it, if you have a sulfate free conditioner, you can put it in your conditioner too and keep it like vibrant longer. But I think I'm just going to have this play out and then just decide to do a different color in a couple months. And I'm having so much fun with it. It's like my alter ego. I'm like a purple princess now.
And,
So 10 out of 10.
okay, and I now that she's talked it up so much to me over and over again, I'm considering it. So maybe we should do a vote. Well, we could do a vote on if I should do it at all or what color. Because I'm thinking either
No,
pink,
we're doing it. So we're gonna vote on color.
so maybe pink or like blue. Do we think? I don't know. I don't know. So let's talk
I
about
want you to do pink. So my vote's pink. Here, what are the different, have you looked at the different
it. I looked at some of them. Yeah,
gotcha.
there's
Okay, they
more of
have
a bubblegum
orange,
tone.
red, pink, and since Amy's hair is lighter, it'll probably be a little bit more vibrant. Because I literally put it all over my head. So I mean, it just made my hair mostly darker, but then I had some of my kind of lighter on the ends from the last time I dyed my hair, kind of with some blondish vibes.
Mhm.
So those are like the vibrant purple. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted personally. So I was pleasantly surprised because I want to say it was like $13 per bottle. It's extremely good value for what it does, and I found it on like a BuzzFeed article. I just
Yeah,
want to do something different.
I'm obsessed with it on you because I like that it's not just like purple. I like that it's like your natural hair looking darker and like having this awesome rich purple like vibe to it. I love that.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't know how much you could see on YouTube, but definitely when the light hits it, you could see a lot more of those purple tones.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what I wanted. But I think maybe um it could be fun if I like just bleached like these or something and did like a bright,
Mhm.
vibrant color just here, or have section like the
You could
world
have
is
like
your oyster with Arctic Fox hair dye.
you could
So
be like Quigley, like how she has her money pieces, her thick blonde money pieces, but it could be like a color.
that's exactly my inspo. So you are correct. Yes, Quigley. If you guys don't follow, what is it? Officially Quigley?
Yeah.
At Officially Quigley, she is our favorite influencer. And she also has a son almost exact same age as Amy's kid Jack,
Mhm.
and they look scary alike. Like sometimes I scroll through and I see his name's Max, and I think it's Amy posting Jack. It's happened to me several times.
Yeah, and I love how vulnerable let's just go on obsession. I'm obsessed with her.
We're obsessed with
So
Quigley. I'm gonna
Yeah,
cut my last one because it was baggy jeans. I love baggy jeans. Let's talk about Quigley.
I love she's super vulnerable, especially, like, about motherhood, and because she did kind of live a big different life before, very adventurous, photo shoots all the time, and she still is, like, figuring out how to balance that, so it's me being in the same place in my life right now, becoming a mom and kind of, like, all the changes that come along with that. I love that she's really able to just, like, talk about it and, talk about content creating, talk about, um just like mental health, all of it. She's just a great person. And fashion, if you want to know, think she talks about awesome fashion, like hair products, skincare. It's like anything you want to know about, follow her and find out.
Yeah, I've gotten like Whitney Cummings is my ultimate skincare person, but officially Quigley, I find a lot of really good stuff that she uses, that products that I still use today.
Yep.
So, yep, officially Quigley, she's awesome. And so that's what we're obsessed with this week, right?
Yep.
All right, so off to our relationship advice episode. Our relationship advice episode is here. Are you ready, Amy?
Yes, I'm excited.
Cool. So we asked for relationship advice, but surprise, we've only been live for a week, so no one sent anything in. So next time, I mean, we'll be answering your questions if you give us some, but we found some good Reddit ones and we're going to roll because it is someone out there's question. They just don't care that we're talking about it, but they will one day. So, do you want to do a question first or should I?
You go first.
All right. So I found this one. I'll keep it anonymous because I think I should do that. Okay, so headline: Living an Airbnb because moving to a new city. Turn off? Question mark. I'm planning to move to a new city, but with Delta and COVID uncertainty, I wanted to take my time to settle in and find the right living situation. My concern is most women will be creeped the bleep out if I tell them this, or is it something that's understandable? Should I even mention it if she asks where I live? I thought that was
Hmm.
kind of interesting because it's a solid explanation for why he's currently living in an Airbnb. But I don't know, what's your first initial take? If a guy, you're vibing with the guy and he's like, "Oh, I actually live in an Airbnb." Would you automatically think he's a creep spy or in the FBI or what would you think?
I feel like if he was open about it and kind of explain, I wouldn't just straight up say, "Oh yeah, I live in an Airbnb," because that's a little bit weird. But if you like tell the reasoning, I think that's super understandable, and I think that's actually a big thing right now. Even for people like COVID and all that stuff aside, um there are a couple like influencers that I follow that they've wanted like they've sold their house but they don't have a place to move and so they're living temporarily in Airbnbs until um they're like settled in. So I think it's kind of more common now than it would have been
Yeah, also
before.
what I've read is like because a lot of people are working from home, they just want something like different, like someplace to go. So people are renting Airbnbs to literally like work it to have some type of different like
Almost like an
um
office.
yeah, exactly. So people are doing Airbnbs like to legit work it and then they just go home. So I've heard of that too. So I do think it's getting more and more. I mean, if this happened like 5 years ago, I'd be like, "Oh, what's he into? He's into some sketch crap." But with like COVID and everything just being so crazy, and also like the housing market being so crazy, and
Housing market just
everyone's wanting to sell, but then it's harder to buy.
hmm
It makes sense. So, I mean, if anything, they probably think you just sold your house and have big bucks, and so you'll get laid a lot quicker. I don't know. I do think that like I only ended up working from home a couple months. I was like everything blew up in March and I was like back in the office like June, July. Not a lot of people did, but I was just cuz I was going crazy just sitting at home. I like the going somewhere different. That's your workspace. And then I mean, I do have this which is like office slash podcast studio, but it's not the same. I don't know. I get why people would, if they don't have the option to go back to work or aren't comfortable going back to work, just finding a separate space. Because it's not like you can go to I mean, I guess you can, but maybe someone's uncomfortable to go to coffee shops right now.
Mhm.
So maybe that's like a safe environment that also kind of helps their mental health to just kind of compartmentalize their life a little bit instead of just one long string of nothingness, which a lot of us had some type of experience with that with kind of the whole lockdown thing that happened. I think what was the actual question?
Back to the actually dating. Okay, I think, yeah, be open. Say the reason why you're living in an Airbnb. I think it makes sense, and especially if you're moving to like a new city.
Yeah, I think the weirdest scenario is like hide it for like a really long time and it make it a weird thing when it's actually not a weird thing. It's official. I don't think it's a weird. I think if
No,
someone just told me, it'd be fun.
yeah, it would be much weirder if you didn't say it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it could even be like a cool conversation starter of like, oh, it's in this area. So that's kind of what I was thinking. Is there any other areas I should be looking into? Or, it could be like cool, like, first of all, learn about this new city you're in, but also like, I don't know, learn about the person you're talking to if you're interested in them.
Yeah. It is hard though nowadays though, just because people catfish or they pretend to be someone that they're not or like all that stuff. I've just been always sketched out about dating someone that I don't know and that nobody else knows. But that's kind of like the way dating is. And so I just never had to experience that, but I would have a hard time with that for sure.
Because you met Jared through a friend, right? See,
Yes.
I met Marcus through a friend too. So it was,
I've never dated anyone that I straight up did not know
yeah,
and nobody I
just
knew
like
know.
plucked out of the universe in front of you.
Mm. But
Yeah.
with online dating, that's a big thing right now,
Yeah,
kind of like we
for
talked about.
sure.
So,
We'll never know.
yep.
All right, you're up. You have another question, right? Hopefully we
Yes.
helped, like Airbnb man.
How to deal with a friendship breakup. So,
I haven't
I
had any.
we're laughing because we are the queens of friendship breakups. We're good people, but it just seems like
I think this is what
we've
the
dealt
thing
with.
is. Are you ready? Oh, there's twofold. Or do you want to go first? I have a
No,
lot to say.
you go
Okay,
first.
twofold. Fold one is our expectations. We expect people to treat the friendships the same way we do, and we are a little intense.
Very intense. We have
Second,
very high expectations for sure.
yes, second fold, which was the first one I thought of. Hold on one second. We continue to grow and change. We don't stay stagnant. And
Mhm.
n- I think that's the better way to grow and be different and change, experience new things. I think we've both gone through journeys in our lives, up and down, but we've still continued just in a kind of upward. And
Mhm.
I think sometimes when you do that, someone who is in your life in a certain part of your journey doesn't fit in your current state of your journey. I'm saying journey a lot. I feel like I've been watching too much of The Bachelor. But what do you think? Those are my kind of two main thoughts on that.
Yeah, I actually think that that was spot on. We are very, very loyal people, number one. And also, I think our mom has set really high expectations on like birthdays. Like she would put a little thing outside our door and we got to pick out the breakfast we wanted to be delivered to us the next morning on our, I'm going to say 13th birthday. We got 13 presents. I think mom just did that to you recently, actually.
Yeah, my 28th birthday, which was my golden birthday because I was born February 28th, I had every single day that month, so 28 gifts sent to me
And like,
to LA from Washington.
so that screwed us for our husbands and for our friends because it's like we want we want to be made to feel special because we've been made to feel very special. And people aren't like that and people haven't experienced that, so they don't even understand like why is that my responsibility, which it's not, but it's
I
just like,
actually, yeah. Well, we're on friendship breakups, but I even think my friends always did a really good job on my birthdays too. So I had my mom, I had friends, and then Marcus, bless his sweet soul. I probably cried and we got into a fight for the first five of my birthdays. And it's
oh
not
yeah,
his fault.
it's probably like every holiday for me and Jared, and we're still kind of working through it. And I feel bad, and I even tell him like I understand that it's not really fair for me to be mad because even if sometimes he tries a little, it's just like, well, that
Do you
didn't take
remember
much
on
thought.
Valentine's Day on paper plates, mom would get chocolate and then she'd spell out our names and then put it in the freezer? So then you could pick it up and it was a chocolate with your name.
Yes.
That I want that or nothing less. Those are
Yeah,
my
exactly.
expectations.
So how to deal with a friendship breakup. So, I feel like I really struggle with this. Anytime I've gone through a friendship breakup, I kind of go into a depression. Like it's really hard for me to lose friends. I think I hold them just as like dearly as like a boyfriend or like whatever, that I think I really like go through it when I experience a
No, for sure.
friendship
I remember
breakup.
specifically my first friendship breakup, 8th grade, and I didn't like. We eventually got back to being friends, but I think until then, I don't think she knows this, but like, I did not get out of my bed for 3 months. Like, I was such in a deep dark hole because, especially you have your family, and then when you're in 8th grade, like at least I didn't really have a boyfriend till like Marcus, so like, your best friend is your everything. And so when you lose that unexpectedly, you just question everything. You don't know what to do. You have nothing to do on the weekends. Like, you miss that person so much. Like, people should acknowledge that a little bit more. Like, oh, you just broke up with your boyfriend. Are you okay? Are you fine? But you don't really get that. Like, if I had a friendship breakup, people aren't checking on me.
Hmm.
And I feel like it should be held to the same standard because for me, it is, and I feel it just as hard. I mean, I've also really only dealt with one kinda somewhat devastating kinda guy breakup, so I have more experience in the friendship ones.
Yeah. Well, and I think me and you are also people who don't have like a bunch of friends. We just hold our best friendships very close. And so when you lose that, it's kind of like you don't have other people to fall back on as much because that was your person.
Mhm.
Um so I feel like the biggest, not that you should just go find a replacement because that's obviously not going to help you get through it, but I noticed that sometimes when I would go through lose a friend, then there would be another friend that then I would be like, you've been here all along and now I can like value you more, and I realized that I maybe wasn't appreciating all the other friendships that I had in my life.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of focus on what's left in your life
Yeah, and putting
after
yourself out there, but I think it's important to feel it first. Like, don't be like, "Oh, it's just a friend, like, I shouldn't be feeling like this, blah, blah, blah." Like, feel it. Like, go through that motion, go through that it's a mourning process, and
Mhm.
then, from there, I think also forgiving the person if they had potentially wronged you or something, like really just freeing yourself from that situation. Whether you're friends with them again in the future, if you're not,
Mhm.
just finding a way, whether it's a couple years down the road or finding a way to leave that situation in a positive way and not having that just negativity fester from like years ago, like it, for the most I have no negative feelings towards anyone um in my friendship past. I truly could say that right now.
I would say also though, don't try to, if something wrong did happen, don't just try, just because you want someone in your life and you want them to value you doesn't mean they will. And that might be kind of like what you were saying. Maybe you're just in a different part of your life and that happens. So maybe it's not always the person's fault, but also don't like glaze over someone hurting you or doing something wrong just because you want them in your life. And I think that in all relationships, even parents, even though that's a whole other kind of like sticky
Sure.
situation, but like you deserve to be treated a certain way. And you don't need to make things okay just to keep people in your life when they don't deserve to be there.
I agree. Yeah, and making sure it's not a one-sided.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, so feel it, forgive the person, and then also put yourself back out there. See, really invest yourself into maybe relationships that you had all along, but that you can really like value.
Mhm.
All right,
Yep.
guys, that was some wisdom. Moving on.
Mhm.
Let's see. Amy didn't like a lot of the questions I found, so let me.
Well, hold on. It says confused about chest hair. I am very intrigued.
Okay, one of them says confused about chest hair. Okay, one second. Okay, Headline: Confused about chest hair. I thought this was good because, like, in date, I don't know, maybe guys want to know a girl's take on this. This is a guy who wrote in.
Mhm.
I am freshly single and so confused about chest hair now. I never thought I was an overly hairy. I was over. Sorry. I never thought I was overly hairy, and my guy friends are not absolutely busting my balls that I need to shave my. Sorry, I can't read. That I need to shave my chest if I'm going to be dating. I just don't know anymore. This guy needs our help.
'Kay, well, let's start this. Marcus, hairy, not hairy?
He's a hairy man. So this is his. Okay, this is actually a very good story. Very beginning, because you know Marcus, he can like grow a beard in like 10 seconds. He's a Wolverine. He has hair everywhere, and so what he would do when we first started dating, because he thought he was supposed to, he was like a seal. He shaved his entire body. But what he didn't know is that I love a little hair situation. And so it wasn't till a few months in I was like, "Why do you do this?" And he's like, "I thought I was supposed to." And I was like, "Don't." So then he stopped. So then he
So, number 1, ask questions.
number
That's good
1,
advice.
ask questions. Maybe there's girls into the seal thing. I was
Mhm.
not. Um and then cuz he shaved his I don't know. He shaved his armpits and everything. Like,
Really?
yes, because that's what he thought he was supposed to do. I don't know, maybe we'll cut this out. I'll get his permission to say that. But for like, yeah, so like I was just like, what the freaking heck? Is like does he just not grow it?
Did his mom teach him to shave his armpits or something? That's rude, but, like, what?
No, they're not a family that talks about stuff like this. So he had to either Google it or just figure it out for himself. But,
Huh.
then now, fast forward, we would get together for a while. What he normally does is, like, if we're playing, like, the Palm Springs trip or something, he just does a little trim situation, like, in his chest and
Mhm,
everything, and because he has back hair,
mhm,
he's got it all. So he just trims,
mhm.
it makes it look, like, natural, but not, like, wowza.
Wolverine. Yeah.
And that's my thing, it's just trim. Whatever you have naturally and trim. That's what I would do. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think also, like you said, I wouldn't necessarily start the relationship with, like, "Hey, so you like hair?" But I would, like, have that conversation at some point because people, like different things, or I mean, but you shouldn't change for a person, but if you're unsure and you don't care, maybe go with what they like. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes a while to get comfortable with a person to talk about hygiene and stuff. But um,
That's true. I don't know. I think Jared shaves his chest. Like, not all the time, but
just every
pretty
once in a while.
regularly. He's never shaved his armpits or his
Yeah.
legs or his.
Well, the thing with
Did
Mark is when
Marcus
he
shave
shaves his
his legs?
chest, he just is so hairy. He grows so fast. Like in one day, it's like a prickle bush.
So it
The
trims better
trim's
for
way
him.
better for him. So it also depends on how fast you grow your hair. And yeah, well, I wanted to bring up one person because I I forgot I was really disappointed in our Alana episode that I just forgot so many of my celebrity crushes. And I want to bring one out right now because it goes with the chest hair. Neve
Me.
Schulman, the host of Catfish. I would leave Marcus in a second for that guy. And he's got triple the chest hair. So what does that tell you?
Did you watch him on Dancing with the Stars, though?
Yes.
So that actually made me sad. They were being mean to him at first, and then he shaved it.
I know. No, it's all back now. It's good. He does actually
Okay.
some really funny TikToks. Everyone should follow Neve Schulman. He is my super crush. Like actually, so on Catfish there's Neve and then there's also Max. Max isn't a host anymore either, but legit Marcus is a combination of those two men.
I see that for sure.
Right? I got my catfish honey.
And Jared got his catfish.
Yes.
If you remember the last episode, then you know what I'm saying.
So do what you're comfortable with, but maybe trimming is a good start.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you're an extra hairy person, maybe a little trim because no one's gonna be like, you're trimmed," but people might be like, "Oh, you're really hairy," or "Oh, you're a seal." So maybe just try to find a middle ground
Middle ground.
until you
Middle
know.
ground it is. You got
Mhm.
anything else, Amy, from the Reddit questions?
So, what boundaries should be set with work relationships? Meaning, like, to make sure you're being respectful of your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, partner, whatever. So, um, if it's someone in your liking category, then if that
In
makes
your
does that make
liking
sense?
category. I like that. No,
I don't know the
someone who
appropriate
is a
way to say it.
somewhat attractive person in your age group.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even say age group nowadays.
True. You might have some cougars out there.
Or what's the opposite of a cougar?
A cradle robber. Those are things. Um,
Yep. Okay.
I don't know. You go first on this one.
Okay, so um I feel like this is kind of a hard one because it kind of depends on your relationship with your partner because some people are a lot more loosey goosey than other people, and some people don't require um as strict boundaries as other couples because of just like past experiences within the relationship and things like that. So I think making sure that you have a discussion with your partner to know what those boundaries should be that make both of you guys feel comfortable. So that could be um you only talk when you're at work and they don't have your personal cell phone number or something like that, or you I mean it can be as strict as like you're never in a room alone with the person of the opposite sex. I mean that's like
Sure.
on the
I mean, like
way
I said,
far,
I think
but
or like you said, every relationship is so different and have different past experiences, different ideals on certain things.
mhm.
Me and Mark, I mean, our podcast, we say communication first. So like we talk about communication a lot. I almost like we're actually thinking about merch ideas, and I was trying to think of like what is something we talk about. What if we did like a shirt that said, "It's all about communication."
Yes, I
I
love
think I like it too.
it.
I want if you guys like it, tell us. Um, I got too excited. What was I saying?
You were saying like communication
Yeah, so
about boundaries.
for my boundary is communication. We don't have rules. We communicate if needed. That's it's
Okay.
truly
And
it's
I'm opposite. I'm a preventative. I don't know think that that's the right word, but I would rather discuss boundaries ahead of time before there is an issue or before I am to be made uncomfortable. But I think that that's the difference in our relationships because I feel like you've expressed Marcus has never done anything to make you not trust him ever.
it's true.
So you guys have never really had to dive into more boundary type conversations because there hasn't been a need for
And
one.
also maybe
Um,
how long we've been together. We're a little ahead of you guys. So maybe we're not in a
that's true.
bad way, but slightly more secure in our relationship just because
Yeah.
we've been together for like 10 years.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So, I agree with you. Just like making sure you communicate, you know your relationship, and then using those boundaries or rules or whatever you guys come up with and making sure you stick to them and not make your partner feel uncomfortable with whatever relationships you're having within the workplace.
Agreed.
Yep. Good.
Solid answer. So my best friend is a girl and I am a guy. I have always wanted to be more serious with her because she's super cute and would be an awesome girlfriend, but waited for her to do the first move. Now, after 7 years of friendship, starting from middle school, she is starting to show some interest. We hug more. We started kissing each other on the cheek after we say bye. She even called me in to help her shave her girly parts. We
Oh no, I feel like that's
we
friends.
go out for food every other night. We watch movies. Even she tells me to be with her on her period to make her feel better. When we walk around in public, we hold hands. She feels safe with when she is with me, and she is also very playful and teasing around me. And she gives me a fountain of infinite signs that she is into me. I bet she knows I like her, but haven't told her yet. What shall I do? What is my next move?
Oh my dear lord,
I think he's
that
friend
is a
zoned,
struggle.
and I think he's taking these messages wrong.
Me too, but it makes me so sad
Yeah.
because he
He
probably
No, because
really
they
likes
both
her though.
the thing is they both love each other, and whatever this next move is might ruin the friendship that they've had for the past 7 years.
Mhm. I think maybe missed your chance, buddy, but I don't wanna say that at the same time because
Yeah, I say, okay, let's
I don't
let's
know.
help him. Let's say, okay, what is his best chance of actually getting with this girl? Dare I say it? Are you ready? It's all about communication.
Yeah, I would say definitely I wouldn't like going for a kiss
No.
or make any sort of move like that
I
at
don't
all.
think
I would
bold is the way to go here.
no. It's been too long.
Mhm.
Maybe bold when they like got to the age of like becoming sexually attracted to people, like because they've been friends for so long.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
like
think
after
started
high
in middle
school
school, so
or
you're like 13, 7 years. So they're like early 20s, late teens.
well then maybe this is the time.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder, like, I'm also curious what his role has been if when they've been dating she's been dating other guys. Like, has there,
Yeah, or does she not date other
yeah,
guys?
has she been dating anybody? What's her
Mhm,
type? Is it similar to you? Or,
mhm.
or are you guys just friends and you need to move on? So I just think it's been 7 years. You just need to have that conversation with her, saying, I love you. We're friends for forever. I don't want anything to be ruined, but this is how I've been feeling. Let's just talk it out so that we can nip it in the butt. And if there's something there, that would make me happy. Let's try it. If not, please let me go. It almost seems like I have a feeling she's kind of hold like just halfway holding on to him, not fully letting him go, but not like,
Yeah, because that's a little definitely confusing. She's being
she
very misleading, but then also sometimes she might be doing it unintentionally because maybe she really just thinks that they're friends too at the
Yeah,
same
and
time.
they're just super close. They hang out every day, like, they tell each other everything. So, yeah.
I'm not an experienced boy girl friendship thing. I don't do that because it doesn't work for me because I always end up liking them or they end up liking me. So I've never had a long term boy friend, best friend type situation. So
You're
I
probably
have a
not the
hard time
best people to
answering.
ask. I haven't really had much of that either, because if anything, they're gay.
Yeah, all my experiences is TV.
Yeah, totally. So, communicate with her and really have that be the moment where she lets you go and you move on, or you finally give it a try. Don't settle. Don't, in that conversation, make sure there's no in between. Make it extremely clear.
Yes. And then know how you guys can move forward, whether it is with your friendship or maybe even taking a little break from each other. If
Maybe.
not,
I mean, yeah, I mean,
I
if
don't
there's some hurt feelings.
know.
So that's all we're gonna do for the relationship advice, but we actually did get one question, and it was specifically for us. I mean, it's a relationship question, but asking for our experience with it versus advice.
Mhm.
So someone says, how has it affected us two, you and me, to share negative feelings towards the other's relationship/significant other?
Only with me and you.
Yes. Like,
Okay.
you having feelings, maybe negative ones towards Marcus, or me and Marcus's relationship, or vice versa.
Mhm.
I don't know how much you want to get into this, but I don't know. I guess you could go first. Have you ever had any negative
I feel like
feelings?
I've never had very many negative feelings towards you and Marcus. To be honest, I can't even really think of any time. Can you think of any time I've said something to you?
I truly can't. I'm trying to think of any like little tiffs me and him have been in that, like, I've tried, like, that you've been somewhat in.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of in our other episode, but I'll just kind of give a little taste
Sure.
maybe. I feel like when there was a little bit of hesitation towards commitment to your guys' relationship, I think that um I was able to talk to you about that, but you were kind of coming to me. We were kind of talking about it together.
Yeah.
So it didn't have a negative effect on our
Yeah,
relationship at
the
all.
year we got engaged was a doozy, me and Marcus. So we're actually gonna have a whole episode about that, kind of commitment and getting engaged and all
Engagement.
of that. So we'll
Mhm,
go more into that.
mhm,
But yeah, so I guess that was probably to a certain extent the most negative. I mean, you maybe felt like there was one trying to think like right around the 7 year mark. Me and Marcus were having a lot of trouble, and we went
Mhm,
to dad's, and you knew that like
mhm.
I don't think it was never a negative. Marcus really wasn't doing anything. It was more of a me thing. So I mean, you didn't have
Yeah.
any feelings towards.
I think you just picked a good guy. What am I gonna
Yeah.
say?
So
You're
you
just
picked a
selfish.
prick. No. I've never said that word before.
Is that, like, a really bad one? Is that, like, the C word to the guy?
I don't think so. I think it's more of like a what Tom Selleck would say in like an 80s movie.
Alright. I'll accept it.
No, no.
We've just had a much more roller coaster, negative
Yeah. So I mean,
relationship.
I loved Jared in the beginning. I really did.
Mhm,
And then like we went on vacations together. We did like a road trip to dad's, and then you guys broke up, and then I shunned him,
mhm.
and he didn't exist. And then I was really excited that you were gonna maybe go to LA too and do all these colleges. And right as you were starting to flourish, he came in and dragged you back down to Castle Rock. Um,
You need to quit saying where I live. I'm gonna bleep that. I don't want people to find
oh, are
me.
you believing it? I feel like we talk about it in extensively in Chrissy's episode. Are you gonna block that too?
I'm working on
Oh,
editing it
okay.
out, yes.
To insert small town here. There you go. You can use that. And then took a couple years, and then I finally forgave him. And maybe I'm too invested in your guys' relationship. I think that might be it. Maybe I'm too involved, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of people in my life that I just like know everything about them and I love them. Like you're like my best friend ish.
Yeah.
Um, if that's okay. And
You're my best
so
friend too.
when some person or something hurts you, and also since you're a little people pleasy, I feel like I have to be the one to attack and make sure
Mhm.
that person
You're my guard
doesn't
dog.
do that again. Yeah, so there's just been a lot of instances like that. I feel like I've stayed in those instances where I have been upset with Jared. I feel like for the most part I've stayed somewhat respectful of your choices and what you've decided to
Mhm.
do in those scenarios, even if I don't agree. And
Yeah,
I'm happy to say I'm feeling pretty good about where me and Jared are at the moment. Um
yeah.
I don't fake it. I truly don't. Like I think he's a nice guy and I think he's funny sometimes, so I'll acknowledge it. And we have some type of relationship, and sometimes I give him some crap, but I feel pretty good. I don't want to say I'm like full on angry with him at this very moment.
Yeah, he definitely needs some more time to prove himself. Um, but I don't think it's affected our relationship because I do feel like you are respectful, and most of the time when he has done me wrong, like, I know it, so I can listen to you and acknowledge that. Because I think a lot of the times when there's big issues, in relationships because you're telling the truth to someone, um, when that person gets really defensive and wants to defend their partner, like, to the end and won't acknowledge any wrongdoing on that person's part, that's kind of when it affects your relationship because it's like, you feel like you can't be honest without getting backlash, and I think honesty is very important, and I've kind of had to start. I think me and you, back to kind of the friendship thing, like, I feel like me and you both have, learned our lessons because we are very honest and blunt people, and that's kind of bit us in the butt sometimes because people can't always handle that. So we've had to learn how to be more
How to stay out of
respectful.
it
Um,
sometimes.
yes, stay out of it, exactly, because 'cause I'm kind of dealing with that with one of my friends, just kind of realizing that she has to take her own journey, and me saying anything isn't gonna help her, and it's not gonna help our friendship, so there's no point. So sometimes you just have to learn to keep your mouth shut even though
Yeah,
it's
I'd say
very hard.
sisters. We're talking like the question is between us. So I think sisters is actually a
Oh, yeah.
different answer than friends, in my opinion. From my relationship,
Okay, yeah.
I should not have said a lot of things about my friends and their relationships. It was not my
Yeah.
place, and it fucked up some amazing relationships I've had in my life, like friendships.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
I don't feel I have to be like that.
Yeah. But I think it's because we are very similar. Our honesty and our bluntness comes we know that the person is coming from a good
Yeah.
place. We just know that, and we accept the bluntness and honesty. Because I don't know that all sisters are as close and are the same as us. Because maybe sometimes you can't have that conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. It's all about communication.
Yep. We value each other's opinions. We know how to be respectful about it, and we know when to take a step back and just let the other person
Yeah, and
go
I feel
through
like we're
what they're
making
going through.
Jared seem like this giant villain, and he's not. I just want to make that super clear. I want to make sure, no matter what, I know we make little quips and stuff, but throughout this podcast, we'll continue making those clips. But he is not a bad person, or I just want to make sure we don't vilify him on this
Oh no.
podcast because that's not the case at all.
Yeah, and most of the things that we've gone through, which we will open up about in continuing through podcasts, a lot of it is so normal. We're very newly
And you
married
guys got
in
married really
a
young. You had
different kind of
kids really
city.
young. Kid.
Yeah, yeah. So we've gone through a lot, but all it's done is made us stronger, made me love him more, made
Yeah,
him a better person,
you
made
guys in
me a
a
better
really good
person.
spot.
So yeah,
Two
for
thumbs
sure.
up. All right, is
Hmm.
Jared around?
Yes,
Okay,
let
let
me
me.
go get him.
Next, we're gonna have a special guest. Oh, I just said it's Jared. Hey, were your ears burning?
I don't know what that means.
You don't know that saying? It means like when some people are talking about you, your ears burn. So you can
Oh,
tell that there's like you just get a feeling like someone's talking about me.
no, I had no idea. Even when people talk to me, I still don't pay attention enough to read.
Has she told you what you're doing for this?
No idea.
Okay, so we're gonna have
It's
relationship
awful.
advice episodes every handful, and we are always give our advice, but
Mhm.
we want a man advice segment.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't know any of the questions ahead of time. The first question: living in an Airbnb because moving to a new city. Turn off question mark. And these are Reddit questions because no one cares to send us questions yet, but they will. Man advice, give it to us.
I think they bring up a good point because that does sound pretty creepy at first, but I think it has a lot more to do with, your personality and why you're moving, or you got to give a little bit more information. Um, I don't know. I think if you dive into that more with someone who you're trying to go after, they're going to understand. Unless you're just a creepy person. Unless you're just,
Question, Reddit questioner. Are you
yes,
creepy? Because if you're creepy, you're
that
screwed
probably
either
is.
way. Even if you do our advice about communication.
Yeah, because I mean the world is a crazy place right now. So I mean, expect anything at this point. I think living in an Airbnb, that there's nothing wrong with that. You can give that information out there. I wouldn't start with it, and I wouldn't leave it at that. You know,
All right,
go
put
into
it somewhere in the
details.
middle
Yes.
of the conversation. All right, that's solid. That's a new take on it. When you tell the person, communicate. Don't start with it and don't end with it. Just slice
Mhm.
it right in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Find a good spot for it.
Mhm.
Okay, next one I think was yours, Amy. Next question.
How to deal with a friendship breakup.
Ooh, those are hard. When you get to the point that the friendship isn't there and you can feel yourself having issues with it, you're thinking about it too much, you're probably up all night thinking about it too much, that's when you need to take a step back and focus on yourself instead of the friendship. It's not necessarily you need to think about what you could do better to be a better friend, but more of what am I getting out of that relationship too? Why am I holding on to that so much? What can I do for myself that's going to allow me to move forward from the friendship, or at least from the ending of that friendship? I
Yeah,
think it's
focus on
important to
yourself. I
really,
like that.
yeah, exactly. It's really important to focus on yourself and not act like you're the one that's to blame, that you have to take on the guilt.
Guys have friendship breakups too, guys.
Hmm.
Guys, They're just like us, except they have penises. Um, confused about chest hair.
A lot of it is personal preference. So if you've got chest hair and you're okay with it, rock it. Go for it. Don't worry about what anybody thinks. But if you're a little bit insecure about it, I would say shave it off. Get rid of it.
All or nothing.
Unless it just really works for you and it looks good. I feel like most of the time the chest hair just it's not it's not what I like.
Are you
I
talking
might
crap
get
about my man?
but does it work for him?
Yes, it does.
See, that's what I'm saying. If it works for you, keep it because that can be a huge turn on. But I don't really have like this nice full chest of hair. It's just a
Kind of
little
like
bit here.
your
A little bit
facial
there.
hair.
What are you kidding me? Come on. The goatee that I can grow is beautiful. Amy tells me all the time that no other man with any
So
kind of
our
facial hair
answer was
will
in
talk like me.
between. So you said all or nothing, and we said trim. So in between.
Okay.
And what do you think about men shaving armpits?
Hmm. I've never shaved my armpits before. I've thought about it, but I
What
don't
made you
think
think
I would.
about it? Tell me about that process in your brain.
Okay. Your armpit hair is kind of unnecessary. It doesn't really serve a purpose. But what I'm mostly afraid of is shaving it all off, and not necessarily like razor shave, but even just like a trimmer where it gets real short, and then it's just pokey and itchy in there.
Ooh,
I'm not gonna
yeah,
put
that
my
would
armpits
suck.
through that. I don't need that. So the length of my armpit hair, like that's kind of annoying, but I mean, whatever. It's there. It's better to have that than to have like really short, prickly hair poking around all day.
Makes sense.
So none of your thought process was, I'm going to shave my armpits because a girl would like it. That's not something you would think.
No, no, not at all. I don't think that that would be a specific thing that's exciting for a woman. Like,
Want
oh,
to know something?
yeah.
The first few months me and Marcus dated, he was like a seal.
Oh, I can't even imagine that.
He shaved everything for me because he loved me so much.
That is so
And then
fun.
I
Oh,
told him stop.
that's what you wanted? Did you like that?
No, I told him this.
Oh,
Once I got more comfortable, I'm like, "What are
yeah.
you doing?"
Oh, no.
So now we're in a good groove. He trims stuff and it's the perfect amount.
Yep, there we go.
Not everyone could be Neve
Real
Schulman, but he tries.
comfortable.
Any friendship stories to tell?
I mean, I've got a lot of friendship stories to tell.
Something juicy.
Something juicy?
Or any story. Any juicy story.
Hmm. This is the kind of friendship that I had with my high school best friends. So we're probably in junior year. It's summertime. We're
Summer,
always
summer,
going around town.
summertime.
We're just going around town, checking things out. We did a lot of random stuff. So one example of that is we stopped along the side of the road and it's up on a cliff. So there's a view of like the freeway down below, the river down below. And for some reason, we're like, let's just strip down to our underwear.
Wow. Really quickly.
Let's go stand at the edge. We're going to stand shoulder to shoulder and put our arms around each other. And we're going to take a picture from behind. And so there's a picture of me and my three other friends, and we're all in our underwear on the side of the road, overlooking this beautiful scene.
What
and then
happened after that?
and then we hop back in the car, and then I think we called it a freeze out. That's where you just sit in the car in your underwear, and as you drive, all the windows are down, the AC's turned on, and you just freeze
Guys
yourself
are
out.
so weird.
And this is sober.
Did you
We did
guys
my
measure
friend
how
group.
small your penises got after like the freeze? What's it called? The cold freeze?
Yeah, the freeze
The
out.
freeze out. Is it at
I
the
mean,
point to
I
shrink
didn't.
up as much as possible?
No, no, not specifically with the penis. No, it's more just the. You know what? This is probably how it is. It's just the feeling of being alive.
The feeling of what?
Why not? Of being alive. You
Guys
could
are
be in your
so
underwear in
weird.
your car, driving around. You're avoiding the cops. You're
Avoiding the
freezing out.
cops. What?
You don't want to get caught with four dudes in their underwear.
Solid. This is a solid story. Solid
That juicy
story.
enough for you?
We will get this more organized for our next relationship advice, but we will continue Jared Man advice segments. We appreciate you
Uh-huh.
coming. Do you have any parting
Mhm.
words?
Yeah, just expect more better things from me here on out.
Well, there you have it,
And
folks.
if you guys try out the freeze out, let us know.
Yes, but we don't want
Try to
any
keep it up.
pictures. Please do not send us any visuals. But also, if you do have specific, you want a man's or Jared's opinion on
What was that about?
any relationship advice questions specifically, email us. Just tell us that it's for Jared, not for us, and we'll
Mhm.
give it to him and he will answer it. Right, Jared?
I sure will.
All right. Thank
You
you
never
for
know what you're
being
gonna
here.
get.
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to our episode 8. We'll be doing more of these if you like them, and hopefully getting some more questions from you because we had 0 this time. No, but we're excited. We're just getting started, and we just want to say thank you again for all the support we've been given. The reviews just keep coming on Apple, and it's just the coolest.
Yeah. This is like crazy. It's like a dream come true that I never dreamed.
Yeah, we love doing this. So we hope it shows through, and we're really just going to be working on making the show better in all like content, guests, audio, even doing a little glow up with our podcast studios, which Amy's is a closet and mine's like a back office mostly filled with storage stuff. So we're going to be working on that, and yeah, we're excited. Next, we always do our Wednesday recaps for the Bachelor in Paradise season. Those have been really fun. And then we also do our Friday episodes, mostly relationship based. So we have an very exciting guest. Amy, take it on.
Chrissy Miller. She's a motherhood influencer and she's one of our really good friends and we just talk about how your relationships change and how they're affected through motherhood. 'Cause it's like
Hmm.
it's a big change in your life. So we just really get in and talk about that. And she's a content creator, so we kind of get into some of that subject as well. So
Yeah, and make sure you follow her on Instagram to kind of see what she's all about going into the episode. It's at Raised with Wolves.
mhm.
And she actually just had a reel that last time I checked was over 2 million views.
Yeah, it's
So
like
yeah, she
2.7
posts
million. Yeah.
2.7 million. So she posts some pretty freaking cool things. So make sure you check her out. And we are so excited about this episode. So it'll be out Friday. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all other podcast apps. And again, this is how you can support us. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and follow. And then YouTube, we post those as well as clips, little shorts on YouTube, extra content. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Tell everyone.
Tell all your friends. Say how
Mhm.
cool we are. Right? Are we cool? I think we're pretty cool.
I think we're pretty cool.
Also email us. The stop wearing my no, not the. It's stop wearing my clothes podcast at gmail.com. Give us your obsessions. Ask us relationship advice, bachelor hot takes, anything you want to know from us. We're open books. We just want to hear from you and have you be part of the show because that's really what we're doing. We're wanting to create a community with this podcast and where we can just all be ourselves. And we would just love to talk to you guys. What else do we got? Follow us on social media. We post every single day. Where are we at, Amy?
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. I think that's it.
We're on Reddit too.
Oh yeah, Reddit.
I'm a new Reddit person, so it's been kind of fun. The Bachelor community on Reddit, they have a lot of like fun takes and polls and stuff like that. I tried really hard not to look at the spoilers. But yeah, so follow us on all of it and listen, enjoy, and share. Thank you so much.
Bye.